In the sleepy suburbs of Fremont, California, life moves at a gentle pace. Birds chirp, kids play, and delivery vans make their rounds. It's the kind of picture-perfect neighborhood where nothing truly bad ever seems to happen. But beneath the surface of trimmed lawns and quiet streets, a story was about to unfold. One that would shatter the illusion of suburban tranquility forever. Our story begins with a new resident, a 29-year-old accountant named Arun Sinha. Arun had recently moved into a small, unassuming apartment. He was polite, quiet, and kept to himself, working from home and rarely engaging with his neighbors. To those who noticed him, he was just a focused young man, always with his laptop bag, seemingly harmless and ordinary. But Arun was anything but ordinary. Late at night, when the rest of the neighborhood was asleep, Arun was wide awake, his face illuminated by the glow of his computer screen. He was conducting what he called a community safety report, meticulously researching the local residents. He scrolled through names, addresses, and public records, his expression a mix of concentration and deep-seated emotion. As one particular face appeared on the screen, he paused. His eyes lingered, not with anger, but with a profound, unreadable sadness. Something was stirring within him, a purpose that no one else could see. The next morning, Arun was in his car, driving slowly through the quiet streets. He wasn't just enjoying the morning air, he was mapping addresses, taking notes, and observing. He parked near a street called Upper Vintners Circle, his gaze fixed on a modest single-story house on the corner. The curtains were drawn, and a no solicitors sign stood guard by the door. After several long minutes of quiet contemplation, he stepped out of his car, a small folder in hand. He walked up the path and knocked gently. The door creaked open, revealing an older man, around 70, with a suspicious look in his eyes. This was Mr. Benson. Arun introduced himself politely, explaining he was conducting a neighborhood record survey. Mr. Benson was immediately on guard. His answers were short, his posture tense. He seemed deeply uncomfortable, as if Arun's presence had unearthed something he wanted to keep buried. After a brief, uneasy exchange, he asked Arun to leave. Arun simply nodded, his face calm but his mind clearly working, and walked back to his car. From across the street, Arun sat and watched the house. He jotted something down in his notepad, adjusted his rearview mirror, and then quietly drove away. Later that day, at a local cafe, a friend on the phone could hear the weight in his voice. "Sometimes people hide behind clean fences," Arun said softly, "but truth has a way of finding daylight." His words were vague, but they held the promise of a storm gathering just over the horizon. 2 days later, Arun returned to Upper Vintners Circle. It was late afternoon, and the neighborhood was still. He carried the same folder and walked up to the same door. He knocked, but this time, there was no answer. He stood for a moment, listening intently. He could hear faint movements inside, a shuffle, a whisper of sound that told him someone was home. Across the street, a neighbor, Mrs. Taylor, watched from her window. She saw Arun walk around the side of the house and, assuming he was a utility worker, hesitated before picking up her phone. An hour went by, an hour filled with an unsettling silence that was suddenly broken. A few neighbors heard raised voices, a brief commotion, then quiet again. A car door slammed shut. Moments later, a faint shout echoed from a nearby garage, a sound that would soon bring the entire neighborhood to a standstill. By noon, the street was flooded with the flashing lights of police cars. Yellow tape was stretched across the lawn, cordoning off Mr. Benson's house. Detectives swarmed the property, their faces grim as they began knocking on doors, asking questions that no one could answer. Inside a nearby garage, they found signs of a struggle. Papers were scattered everywhere. A small kitchen knife lay on the floor, and a dropped phone displayed a list of public records. The scene was chaotic, a puzzle with too many missing pieces. And where was Arun? He was found sitting quietly on a nearby sidewalk, his hands trembling slightly, the folder resting beside him. He looked distant, lost in a world of his own. When officers approached him, he didn't resist. He simply stared ahead, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding just feet away. At the police station, the interrogation began. Detectives pressed him for answers, but Arun remained frustratingly silent. He murmured something about trying to make things right, but offered no explanation, no confession. His unsettling calmness left the experienced officers baffled. What had driven this quiet accountant to this point? As detectives dug into his life, they began to piece together a clearer picture. His laptop contained a detailed map of the neighborhood, filled with addresses and extensive online records. It was clear he had been researching residents for weeks, driven by a purpose that remained shrouded in mystery. The investigation eventually revealed that Arun had a history of involvement in community outreach programs focused on neighborhood safety. It seemed his passion for protecting others had warped into something more, an obsession that led him to take justice into his own hands. Weeks later, Arun stood in a courtroom, his silence as loud as any testimony. The community was divided. Was he a misguided vigilante who went too far, or a quiet hero trying to right a hidden wrong? The judge listened as arguments flew from both sides. But the truth remained elusive, locked away behind Arun's quiet, thoughtful eyes. The story ends as it began, with a calm evening descending upon Upper Vintners Circle. The police tape is gone, and the street has returned to its peaceful state, but a lingering sense of unease remains. Sometimes, the line between right and wrong isn't drawn in law books. It's drawn in the heart of those who believe they're doing the right thing. And when that line blurs, even justice can lose its way. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, please hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the mysteries that hide in plain sight, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay safe and stay curious.